Good evening, everyone. It's the 19th of March. We're still in 2025, which I'm struggling to comprehend that we live in the future, Yabba. That always seemed like 2025 always seemed to be the future to me. And now here we are.
Wasn't it? I was watching Terminator the other day, and they said,
Yeah,
I think it was 9. What really surprised me, we passed the date from the original Terminator when they were supposed to be. Because at the start of the show, they say in the future, say 1980, so maybe something like 2012 or.
it's 20. Is it not 2019?
Maybe, yeah, something like that. Oh, it's 2014.
Is it 2014?
And I'm thinking, we've gone past 2014.
We've let ourselves down, haven't we? As a species, we should have been blown up by robots by now. And we don't even have blow-up robots.
It was my mum's 75th birthday yesterday, and what I really think is important when you're talking to elders, you need to ask them questions, because we had 3 generations there, and I was making sure we asked Mum questions. Mum, how did you wash when you were a kid? She used to no, but to fill up a bowl and wash out the bowl and wash her body like that, then it wasn't like until the 80s where she had a shower and everything. So times have changed. And when you think from 2000 to now, how times have changed, we got these devices, everyone. We've got so much technology, stuff that we couldn't even fathom back in the 80s and 70s and that thing. When
do you think there's been big leaps forward?
And for me, no. I think I'd rather live like a natural lifestyle with friends, family. I was ask you a question, Bath Time, about this, because I know before shows we should talk random stuff. This is why I saw a comment the other day. This is why I love this show. You guys always talk about anything.
International break, mate.
yeah. So welcome everyone, by the way. But yeah, I ask you. So if you've got the power. You've been given an island, and you've got to populate the island, and you want it to be successful. So what would be the first 5 rules you would do to make people to be a successful, thriving island, the Bath Time of Ireland? What sort of things would you put in place to make sure?
I see. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do some comments, and I'm going to read them out. But whilst I'm doing that, my mind is going to be also working on the commandments.
You can multitask like that. Okay, good.
Yeah. So we've got I am titanium. Right, we'll come to the birth certificates later on in the show, Bilal. And also we're going to play a game again, I think, today. And I know you like games. Danny B with his beautiful doggy there. Big up yourself. Simon Warner. I hope you're all right, Simon, and everything's going well. And it's my friend and yours. It's Bart. Bart, I have passed on your suggestions, but no one's read them yet. But don't worry, there's a lot of time. Got Andrew. He still doesn't wash. We'll deal with the birth certificates earlier. I mean, it's a story that, to be honest, has been going on since the early 90s about players from Africa and South America having dodgy birth certificates and being older than they are. It's not just Africans, it's South Americans as well. Hello, Sydney. How are you? Yabba, how's your finger? What is that like? You're just showing us a finger. So not good.
Not good.
Not good. You need to go to a doctor. Look, Bilal is saying it's ridiculous. He's actually referring to African AIDS certificates. All right, my brain is finished working in the background.
5 policies of Bath Time, New Ireland, to make it successful and thriving and healthy for people.
Right. I think that the 3 questions that everyone needs the answers to is: where do we come from? Where do we go? And how did the world get here? Those are the 3 things.
Question. Where we came from and how did the world... Oh, okay. I suppose you can mix where did we come from how did the world get here.
Yeah,
maybe.
Kind of. And then you need morality. And then you need a bit of ambition or whatever. So my commandments would be mainly focused on how you should treat your fellow man and why. Is that a good enough answer for you, or do you want actual specifics like do not kill, do not steal?
No, not like that. But so it's good. It's a good enough answer. I mean, you sort of said basically what I would say. So, do you think the family is important? Would
Yeah.
you, a marriage and things like that, you would keep?
I don't know if marriage is necessarily important, because
what's
that's
the purpose?
Well, marriage is a promise made before God, isn't it? Like, and I don't necessarily think that you need a marriage for a family. Like, family is in a sort of like a unit of having two caregivers that raise you up is I think it's one of the most vital things that you'd want a child to have. But
you wouldn't want so you want something in place to avoid temptation and people going astray and you being unruly. You realize maybe it's natural for kids to grow up in a healthy environment with two parents, or who loving parents, and once the parents get old, the kid will invest and support the parents like that. So there's a generation after generation. It's like a garden planting a seed, and that seed continues to grow seasons, continuing like that. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's difficult, right? Because here, like Andrew's brought up, essentially, he's talking about hunter-gatherer situations where he's talking about a sort of like, essentially, he's talking about like communism, I suppose. And a lot of the sort of like theories of governance we have for people are based on important factors like trade. That changes you from like to sort of more free markets and capitalism and so on, and then you have like socialism as a sort of response to that in some ways. It really depends on like the kind of where you are. But if you're talking about like Sharif and Robber's Cave or like a Lord of the Flies situation, you want like equality for everyone. You also want a basis that allows people to progress through their own will and hard work.
And would you encourage people to play football in your island?
Absolutely. I always like. Have you ever seen them? Have you ever seen like the Incans used to play? I think they actually used to play it with people's heads.
Yeah,
but I can't. Yeah, like with the hips.
That's the theory. They theorized that that's what they were doing on that sort of whatever it looked like. It's like a wall ball kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. So a sort of basketball. Let's have a look at some of the comments here. Right, but I will come to this later. I've got all the information. I've got all the stuff about Sammy Eto'o, all this stuff. Don't worry about it. Right, Sydney's done some research, and at university and economics teachers adamant that Ineos is right. Go to a different university. Is my son in that. All right, and Andrew Island. No religion. I am the law. No questioning. Every year, the bottom 10% of the population in terms of number of tests get banished. That sounds fantastic. Live in sin. It's better. Maybe, Phil. Surely the parents know when the person was born. Yes. I think that in some countries, electronic document. Look, we're on two different things here. Some people are talking about the birth certificates, but we want to talk about imaginary islands. Atheism, autocracy, decimation, and communism. That's Andrew's four main rules. I can understand why some people think marriage is an outdated construct, but it's the best thing I ever did. Good for you, Sydney. The way I see it, United are $1 billion in debt. Shut up, Bart. Like, all that will sort itself out. Like, we're just a couple of plebs, me and Yabba, and I am sick to death of looking at balance sheets and accounting and all this kind of stuff. People have made their minds up now. There's the facts, the logic, like none of that matters. There's just a narrative. Ineos bad, club bad, all of this. And Kieran, that's the best comment of the night. All right, yeah, but do you have anything to add on your imaginary island, or can we leave it now?
Yeah, just leave it. I find it interesting what people think of the values that people should have in society, because we're living in a diverse society right now, and it's not perfect. There's a lot of things wrong. So I always wonder, well, what would be right, you know? And when you see with London's so diverse, and I work with so many different communities, and I always take a piece of what their community, like Afghans, Somalis, Iranians, Jewish. You know, there's so many different communities. They all have their own cultures and traditions,
Yeah.
and they're all a bit different. And I do sometimes think it's hard. You know, they say diversity is good, but they've got so many different rules, and when you're mixing amongst other people, it's hard to sort of get along. So if you had an island where everyone was doing the same thing, you know, it would be more successful, because when other people start coming in, you can be influenced, can't you? You can be overrun or diluted by someone else's cultures and things like that. So yeah, it's very interesting stuff. I think it's I just always wonder what people would put for their commandments or rules of their own if they were to create their own island.
If you like were making an island for, like, let's say we took all of the academy players and stuck them on an island with you, like, what kind of rules, practices, customs would you have in order to sort of turn out like footballers with a good attitude?
I think I know it sounds a bit easy to say this, but team building, doing things together, you know, like scouts and cubs, they do activities together, and that's all about when they're young to grow up and they do things around nature, activities, group activities, going around together, supporting each other, orienteering, like map work, getting together to find the goal. These are all
Duke
things.
of Edinburgh.
Yes, yeah, Duke of Edinburgh awards and all that kind of thing. All those things are geared towards teamwork and working together for a goal. And I think if you've got a team of academy players on my island, it would be sort of activities based around that, where they can gain confidence and get leadership and things like that, with not football related activities, but things like orienteering, building huts, camping out, those sort of things. I think they really work.
Do you think though that, like, one of the big sort of issues that has come into football, I think, like certainly for spectators, is that we don't have like maverick players anymore that kind of go against the grain and like produce moments based off sort of pure skill and imagination. Would you be worried that your Duke of Edinburgh award wouldn't kind of encourage that creativity, as it were?
That's a good question. I think Maverick's important. You can't stifle someone's being, you know. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own sort of quirky ways, and I think if you can embrace people's quirkiness and enjoy it, and rather than punish them for things, their behaviors, I think it's all good. When I was growing up, we never had autism so much, or ADHD as much as we see today. And these days, people, they give you medication for what do they call it? Attention
deficit
thing. They give you medication.
You know what amazes me?
When really, we had some kids who are just outrageously funny and just mad, and and we just embraced them. That's what they were. So
what confuses me more than that, right, is it's not like sort of like disorder, like neuro, like, you know, neurodiversity or whatever the term is. It's eyesight. Like, how are you gonna function, you know, 200 years ago, 500 years ago, if you're short-sighted? And yet so many people now need like corrective eyewear and stuff. Like, oh, because I need, you know, I have contacts and glasses and things. I'd have been about as useful as an owl, like in the Middle Ages or something. What would I be up to?
Good question. I don't know. But I mean, you've got your quirky ways about you, and
I do, yeah.
And if anyone tried to stifle you or thing, you would rebel against it. So I think it's great that people need to be with some limits. There's got to be some limits. You can't be completely outrageous, but have joy. Don't uniform everyone to be the same. We're not the same, but take pride and enjoy your personality and be comfortable with who you are. Everyone's different, and that's a beautiful thing.
All right. I think Mr. B might be joining us shortly, but just a couple of comments. Like, Andrew, you are discussing immigration extremely sensibly, but I don't trust a YouTube football chat to be able to have a conversation about multiculturalism and for it to be a productive experience, nor is it really the place to do it. So, the thing is I think it's perfectly fine to talk about these things, and I think it's useful, but I know what can happen in chats like this. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna pull the plug on that, even though I think you're being perfectly reasonable, and so is everyone else. I just don't want this to, you know what can happen in these things. And we're also going to talk about African birth certificates later, and we're going to have basically the same thing is going to happen. All right, shall we whiz through what I consider to be quite boring news?
Let's go.
All right, a lot of this is transfer related. Xavi Simmons, according to a Pletty goal, he's quite reliable, I believe, for Germany, and Xavi Simmons plays for RB Leipzig. Apparently, we're very, very interested, and the price tag is about 67 million. Thoughts on the player, thoughts on the price tag, and give me a kind of a probability.
I think it was 2013, around that time. There was a tournament with him and Dembele, who was a young kid that was playing for Celtic. He played for Celtic. He's left there now. And it's like a yearly tournament. So Xavi Simmons was a lovely, cute little kid with blonde sort of locks, and he was a brilliant player. He controlled the whole game. He was beyond his years. And there's footage still out there. I remember watching this at the time, thinking, "Wow, this player is going to be something." And I thought it'd be a midfield maestro, a bit like Xavi, the player. That's the way he used to play back then. But he's become more dynamic. The way he's developed, and the sort of player he is today, he's a real driving, attacking forward. Wide, central, he can play all over, and I'm really surprised the way he turned out. I thought it'd be a dictator, sort of a sitting sort of Busquets kind of player, because he always had that about him. But he's done really well in his career. He was at Barcelona. He left Barcelona to go to PSG, and since then he couldn't really get in the PSG squad. Then he's gone on loan a couple of times. He's gone Germany back and forth. He went and played. I think he went back to Holland for a period of time. He's Dutch, But a lovely player. He's doing really well. But I think the question mark would be, why did he leave Barcelona? Why did he go to Paris and he hasn't played any games for them? What's going on with his career? He needs a good move, and a move like Man United could be the making of him, to build his profile and his worldwide status, because he's got everything about him. He's got some good attributes. Watched him a lot. I always tried to look out for him, because I've always, like I said, I remember when he was a child, playing football. And I watched him against Arsenal last season for playing for PSV. I think it was a couple of years ago, and I was quite impressed. And then now he's back in Germany playing for them. I watched him in the Euros as well. Very good player. I just think the price tag is a bit too much from what I've seen. I would be looking more about 45, 50 mil would be acceptable for someone like that. He's a wonder kid, and he's done well, but he needs to be pushed to that next level. And maybe a club like Man United might be the one for him. So interesting to see that. I'm surprised by that news.
We finished a lot of careers as well. But let's see what the comments are saying. First of all, Bart is saying, what are the odds he goes back to PSG now they don't have Mbappe? It's going to be hard to break into that PSG midfield. They're very, very impressive.
He's not even a midfielder, is he? He's like a wide guy. Who's the guy? Dua and
who's the other? Like Dua.
Yeah.
Dembele.
Not that. Yeah, there's another guy who's come on the scene now, winger.
Barcola,
yeah. It's going to be hard for him to get in against those guys for sure.
No, it really shows, you can see why PSG wanted to get rid of Ugarte. There's absolutely no way he could play in a midfield that is that tippy-tappy. Food for thought, Yabba. Right. Diogo Costa. I believe that is that goalkeeper that we were linked to and then was absolutely rubbish. Portuguese. And now here's a player I actually quite like, Renato Sanchez, who I think might actually be at PSG at the moment, or he was there.
He's gone Bayern Munich, Benfica,
Swansea,
yeah, he's been all over.
That's why Andrew hates him. I've always quite liked Renato Sanchez, to be honest, but not as much as like this man here. We'll wait for him to pop in. Xavi Simmons is as overrated as Memphis Depay was. And there's a lot of comments about, oh God, we forgot about Carrot Man, who's a wide player for PSG. No comment on that, Yabba. Brilliant. Mr. B, how are you?
A lot tighter than I thought I was, to be fair. What's happening, BT? Sorry, man. Sorry about the tardiness.
It's no problem at all. I'm more concerned if you watched the trailer I sent you of the Warriors after last night.
I saw something come up and thought, I'm not pressing that shit.
I can't
believe the Warriors is amazing, isn't it?
I was watching the show this morning. I can't believe Mr. B didn't know the Warriors.
I've never heard of it.
Warriors, we're coming out to play with the milk cartons, the bottles. Warriors, come out to play. Come on, Mr. B.
No, I don't. I'm sorry, man.
Wow.
I don't know. My child. I don't know. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it.
You've never heard of it? One of the guys in it looks like Xerxes Cyrus. I'm shocked that you've never heard of it. It's genuinely one of the it's one of them films like Commando or Predator or something that I just thought everyone had seen.
No, you told me Avatar, the one with the blue things. I remember seeing that at the cinema, but I think I definitely wasn't 8 when I saw that. No, I've never heard of it.
Really
never heard of it.
You should definitely check it out. It is really fun.
No, it'll give me something to do.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a story of basically the Odyssey, like Odysseus trying to get home, meeting all these weird people. But it's like I don't know. It's that sort of weaponized fancy dress, and like there's a gang of girls in it called the Lizzies, which always made me laugh. The Lizzies, yeah.
Okay, cool. I won't say anything else.
Lizzies. That's exactly what it's meant to be. And Will Williams popped in to say the Warriors is essential viewing. Right.
Okay. All right.
It's really good. Like, honestly, it's not like, go and watch Good Will Hunting and it turns out to be a load of shit. Like, the Warriors is excellent.
A proper film. Okay.
Yeah.
I see Yabba nodding in approval at the back there.
And shock. Because of your age, Mr. B, that was a film that you should know. No, but you ask your brother. Go and ask your brother if you've seen the Warriors.
I'm going to ask him. But I don't remember. I'll be honest. I don't remember watching much TV when I was young. I was always out playing. So look, I don't know. Maybe I know I have. I definitely haven't seen it.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Go on, Yappa.
There's different names. I don't know what neighborhood you came from, but there's different names for different sports that we used to play on the streets. What would you call that game where you get the ball and we stand one pavement from the other and throw
Kirby.
the ball? You call it Kirby. Okay,
yeah.
That's cool. What do you call it when you knock on someone's door and run away?
Knock and run.
Down ginger.
Yeah, knock down ginger. What did you call it, bath time?
Knock and run.
Knock and run.
Knock and
Knock
run.
and run.
Terminology, isn't it? That's how you play.
Oh, that was so sick. Knock and run. That's boring. Knock down ginger had like.
What do you want me to call it? The artist formerly known as Prince or something?
No, knock and run is so simple.
What do you call it?
Kirby?
Yeah.
Bobby
Kirby.
knocking. Postman's knock.
All right. So
knock down ginger.
Yeah, knock down ginger. What do you call it? The game, which is a bit like hide and seek, where
run out.
It's in. Yeah, where it's a game of hide and seek, but in masses. You have two teams. One team counts, the other team go in the neighborhood and run out, but they have to get back to a point.
Yeah, run outs.
It's run outs in the neighborhood.
What do you call that, bath time?
How would you describe it?
I genuinely don't think I've played that game. Like, what do you do?
So you're in a neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
You have two teams of 10 or something.
Yeah.
And you have boundary. You say, right, we're not allowed to go past Paul's shop.
Bulldog, isn't it?
No. It's like a distance of a mile or two. And you got so one team hides, one team counts and doesn't look, the other team disappears. And as soon as
Matt
that time is
Hiding
up, they go looking for them. And the goal is for the team that disappears is to get back to that point, maybe a lamppost or something, without being caught and touched. If you get touched, you're out. So you run out, you can just go for days, and some people go missing for days.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
I have played that, but I don't know what it was called.
Okay. As long as you played it,
I definitely played it.
Right,
like,
one more, please, Mr. B. Sorry, one more. What do you call that game where people line up? You got a tennis ball and you throw it at people.
Hot Matty.
What do you call it?
I used to call it Hot Matty.
Hot Matty.
Yeah,
that's new to me. Wow.
What did you call it?
Kingy. Yeah. So you line up, they all line up, and you
have to turn your back on them and they throw it.
Yeah, with a tennis ball. And if you get caught, you're jumping around. If you get hit, you're out.
They're not allowed to play those games no more, bro.
No.
The world's gone so soft.
What did you call it? Hot Batty?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
This ball needs to sting you on your arse, innit?
Yeah. we called that crabs.
You called it what?
Crabs.
Crabs.
Yeah, I think because we used to do it with apples, so I think it comes from crab apples.
Crab apples.
Oh, wow.
Okay. At least you weren't talking about coming from somewhere else. So yeah, that's fair enough.
So different names for all these sort of games we used to play when Mr. B was playing out, not watching Warriors.
Yeah,
he was probably on the runouts and went missing when it was debuted. But yeah,
I found some quite good unintentional comedy in the chat where Will Williams said "knock knock ginger" is Wales, and Andrew said I'm Welsh. We call it Bobby knocking, but I realised that Andrew is Welsh, and everyone starts to knock out Andrew, innit? So they had to call it something else. I'm looking there. We got Tyrone in the house talking about films and so on. Your stories are great. I could listen to your stories all night. All right. Unfortunately, Kieran, we've got to do some more boring stuff now, which is that we've been linked with Job Bellingham from Sunderland. And yeah, that's a story. I know nothing about him. I've got a mate who supports Sunderland. I asked him what he thought, and he said that he thought he was all right, but he feels a lot of it is down to his brother. Like the hype, that he wouldn't necessarily look at him and think that he's going to be a great player. Because they got Chris Rigg there, who was better.
Right. Well, that's what from Sunderland. It had been Chris Rigg for about a year or just under a year. So, I mean, is that another cheap version of? Is he another cheap version of De Jong?
I mean, hopefully we get that player. Then, I mean, I as I said, I don't know anything about the player, and I don't know a huge amount about Frankie De Jong. He just seems to wander about, like it's doing simple passes.
The fact that we've been linked with him again, I just think is atrocious. I just move away from these players that we got. You know, nobody's got no money at the club. You know, nobody can't even afford to buy somebody a Twix, and they're talking about Frankie De Jong, who must be on £800,000 a week. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't think we're linked with De Jong, to be honest. I think someone was just saying that, like De Jong. I'm not sure.
So what sort of a player? I mean, nobody knows what sort of a player Job is. Obviously, he's not as good as his brother.
Well, I think he's definitely like a physical specimen for his age, like his brother. You know, he's sort of big and tall. He's a midfielder. I just know that at Sunderland, like the Rigg guy is rated much higher in terms of his ability and stuff. And like my mate basically said, like I'm not saying he's an oracle on football and things like that. He did love Ahmad. Said he was the best player Sunderland have ever had in his lifetime. But he said that like if he didn't have the name Bellingham, he doesn't think that he would like. He thinks that that's boosted his credentials a lot because he doesn't stand out like as a technical player. He stands out for his physicality.
It's funny that I was looking who scored for Newcastle in the final the other day. These have got twin brother. I think it's Josh and Jacob Murphy, and I've been looking for. I don't know. So that's Josh. I think Jacob is in the lower leagues. And,
you see that stuff about Bruno today?
No, what's that? What happened?
About Bruno's brother.
All right. Well, we've talked about Bruno's brother recently, didn't we?
Mm.
What's happened now?
His brother plays like in step 6 or step 7 or something in Manchester.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his brother was there with the Premier League trophy talking about how great Bruno is and things. And it reminded me of where you're talking about like the Murphy brothers like playing, like there's 90 league places between them or something.
Okay.
I thought he was gonna bring up his brother. He was gonna bring up Yappa's brother.
Do the dance, Yappa.
See?
Do the dance.
Oh no. I didn't tell a story on air, did I?
No,
I won't tell that story.
That's members only content.
Yeah, exactly. I'll remember and I'll tell that story. Yeah, very funny. But yeah, so how would you feel? Because I know, Mr. B, you got a brother. And were you competitive about like football? Because if one got more medals or one was more talented than the other, like
he
was
was.
Was there any jealousy or any kind of?
I've never been. It's never been an issue, to be fair. He was always. I don't know. It's never been. It was never.
You in this relationship. It's basically.
Yeah, so he would be Joe, but I would have to be Jude. He's a better player than me, but I'm older, so we'd have to swap the ability round. I'd have to be Jude. But no, it wouldn't be. I wouldn't like to think it was ever that. I can't be fast. My whole life I haven't been fast. I spent my early days fighting too much, so now I just don't care, to be fair. So I just take it. No, Job. No, we've never had. It was never an issue. I didn't have that rivalry there. To be fair, I know you did, didn't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm like 10 years. There's 10 years between us. We've like different.
Oh, the gaps. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, mine is only a year and a half. Okay, fair enough.
I was frustrated because things I was doing in football, he didn't do, and I wanted him to do things. So I would go to him, come on, and he wasn't interested. And it's only in later years that he's more interested in he's went and got a degree in sports, and he's done a FIFA. He's doing his FIFA coaching stuff and all that, and he's coached. But when it comes,
I'm going to ask you something. So you see these coaches, right? These people who get all of these badges, it doesn't improve their football ability or their dancing skills, does it?
Who was it? Like you get these. I worked in mental health for years, and there's always like one Jamaican guy you see walking down the street, and he'd have some sort of badge on him or some sort of stripes or something, and then you say, "What's that mean?" And every time you ask him, he tell you the exact same thing. This means I met the Queen and she gave me these stripes, and blah, blah, blah. And he's completely, I'm psychotic and all that. And who is it? Who's the reggae producer who done the reggae producer who done Bob Marley's album?
I don't know.
I ain't gonna be able to tell you that.
Yeah. So he would have little similar things hanging off him, all these stripes and medals and all this kind of thing. What does that mean? He'd say this represents something. This hedgehog thing represents something here. So all these stripes and medals sometimes mean a load of nothing, because anyone can go and do a degree in something because they give you information. If you pass, you pass. Doesn't mean make you a good coach or anything like that,
or player. Fair enough.
Yeah, but I think it's great that people do these things. I'm so proud of my brother. He's done so much in football, and he's really good. I'll tell you something. He's really good. We've got great relationship with a young generation of kids that he worked with who get kicked out of academies and finds them new clubs and coaches them and gets that sort of thing. So he's everyone's got their bit, and he's definitely found his niche in football.
Is it Leroy Wilson?
No, it's not Toots. It's oh my god. I'll let you know in a minute. Oh God.
Yeah, do a bit of investigation.
Yeah.
And whilst that investigation,
Lee Scratch Perry. Yeah.
Right. Alex Crook has said that Rasmus Højlund is essentially finished at Manchester United. Ruben Amorim doesn't have trust in him. Ineos don't have trust in him. Napoli have the Kvaratskhelia. Maybe that's how you say it. They've got that money from PSG. Conte apparently quite likes him. Played in Italy before. Anyone got any complaints with Rasmus moving to Napoli? I'm doing this as well.
Tumbleweeds. Tumbleweeds. No, he's done. He's proved he's not a Man United player. He's even the go. Even if he goes on a run, I would love him. I would love him to go on a run now, from now till the end of the season. That bumps his money up and does his and give us an inflated value of the player that we know ain't no good. So no, I'm glad if he's going, he's going. Great, that's great news. They've just Barada's talk about players being here 2 years and not helping the club is going to be so. Go, yeah, let him go. I don't know the figure, BT.
How long we had him? 2 years, right?
We've had him 2 years.
So we signed him for 70 million. So let me get my calculator out to do this properly. We signed him for 70 million on a 5-year contract, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's 14 million a year. So he's been here 2 years. That's 28.
30.
70 minus 28, 42 million.
No chance.
I think that is. I think we could get 35 and add-ons for him.
See, I was
but
thinking more 30 with add-ons to 35, maybe. But what is he on? He's not an incredible money though. Be half time.
Yeah, but look, we sold McTominay for 30 million to Napoli as a sort of. He's 28. Rasmus would be maybe 23 when we sell him, and a striker. I think 35 is an all right price for that.
Interesting that. I think Rasmus, I think he would love to stay and prove people wrong, because obviously there's a lot of doubters about him. I think when you sign someone for that much money, who's so young, you're expecting them to develop. The question is, has he developed much? Probably not, but he could blow up. You just don't know.
Really?
He's done right in Europe.
Could. You never know. He could actually blow up and find a role and find a position and become a valuable player for us.
I don't think it'll be a Prem. I don't think he'll be a Prem player. I mean, Bath Time always talks about the physicality part of it. He does in Serie A. He was able to, to sit on the defense, sit on the full, like he's been trying to do in the Premier League, and the defenders are just munching him. Whereas I think he was dominant at that in Serie A, maybe, and he was able to do it. So maybe it's a different country. Maybe it'll be a different country. Look at Anthony. Maybe it's just a different country thing, So I said I don't dislike him. I just don't want him at Man United anymore.
Do you think so? He's a good. He's physical. He can run fast, but there's areas of his game that he needs to improve. And left foot, right foot finishing. He scored the other day with his right foot. It was a good finish. The heading, movement in the box, his hold up play, link up play. It just looks clumsy a lot of the time. But sometimes you just don't know. With strikers, it's about putting the ball in the net. So with all these deficiencies he does have, it could get to the point where he just finds something works for him, and he just uses explosive pace when it's necessary and just starts becoming a poacher and scores goals. You just don't know. Well, I would give him another season, personally.
I wouldn't. I think he's had enough time. But I do agree with your point, because I always bring this up. Lookman was rubbish at Everton and Fulham. And he's turned into, that question, a Champions League standard player. I think it's going to take Rasmus a long time to put it together. But I think he probably does have a lot of attributes that make him an exciting prospect to develop. And but unfortunately, he hasn't done it at United. So the longer we keep him, the less likely it is that we can like get decent value for him. So I think that we've got to move him ASAP whilst he's still in a kind of developmental stage. Because, you know, one of my favourites, Evan Ferguson, he went from commanding a £70 million transfer fee to probably move into West Ham for 25 million or something in the summer. And we've got to avoid that with Rasmus Højlund. Like, if we can get decent money for him now, we've just got to take it, in my opinion, and not gamble.
It's fair enough. I think the
and
majority.
here's one for you. Tyrone would love a show where we talk about football agents, or I don't know, maybe get a football agent on.
Leave it to me, boys. My favourite words, last words. I will. Football agent will be coming on very soon. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Maybe this is a good point as well from Tyrone. Like, maybe pop a buyback in then if we sell him to Napoli or something. No?
So who to Napoli? Rasmus.
Yeah, so Yabba's worried about him like doing what, you know, a lot of people scared Pogba was going to do, which was move to another club and then look brilliant. So if we pop a buyback clause in the contract.
On whose contract? For who?
For Rasmus.
Oh, no. Come on.
This is not to you. I don't know why you're getting involved. This is to Yabba. He wants to keep Rasmus. So I'm saying, would it be alleviated if there's a buyback clause in there?
No, I just think, look, there is people, everyone's, the only safe player, I think, are the youngsters who are looking good and Bruno. Everyone else, there's a question mark about. So I think when he goes and reviews it next season, they would say, look, you've had 2 years here, you haven't produced, and they have to make a decision. Is there something to come? Is there more to come from this guy? Does he have? So when we get Scout on or someone like that who's inside the game, because I think, Bartham, you would know this as well, and Mr. B, that sometimes it's about character why you keep players in and around the club. Has he got the character and desire? We've got rid of Sancho, we got rid of Rashford, we got rid of a few players who were talented but didn't have the character. I think someone like him, because he shows that desire and willingness to work hard, that might put him in good stead to stay another season if a decision has to be made. That's all I'm saying.
This looks like V, doesn't it? I'm considering, Robert, I'm considering banning you. But I want to shout out, first of all, where's he gone? Stumpy. Stumpy Candletop is here. Shout out to Stumpy. We've got Agile Beast, who's popped in. And this, I'm not saying this. You can say this was to be. I don't know how you say that.
I think there's more to come.
No, the name.
Oh,
Christ.
Oh, God. Jeez.
Sorry, my brain's dead. Oh God, who's this from? The Miz Mob.
The Miz Mob. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Said. The Miz Mob. Yeah. So.
All right. Do you want to talk about birth certificates?
Oh yeah. What was that about?
All right. So, also shout out, you pronounced that perfectly. Right. The age-old thorn of African birth certificates is coming back, where the Manchester United and Manchester City academies are basically like being accused, not accused, but like it looks like maybe there are some players in the academy that are in the wrong age groups. This is coming out from the Telegraph. It's quite a detailed report, and it is it's mainly been driven by parents of academy players who believe that like the people they're playing against just can't be the age that they are. And this always, to my mind, brings up Freddie Adu, who I'm absolutely convinced was 2 or 3 years. Was he 13 when everyone was raving about him? I'm convinced he was 17, and that's why he was so good and then faded.
With this topic is very interesting. When you see everyone wants to make it in football. In Africa, there's so much talent; it's unbelievable. if you want to make it, if you look at anyone who's made it, look at Partey's story. Partey was playing in Ghana. He was one of the top players out there in their domestic leagues, and he got fast tracked. He had to get an agent, someone take an interest in him, and he ended up playing in the Spanish lower leagues. And then he got him through to Atletico Madrid. They took a hit on him. So it's really hard for African players to get through. And because there's so much talent out there and there's not much opportunity, you have to be able to manipulate things a bit, and you have to sort of agents want to make money. I know some football agents. I knew a guy, I used to work with a Liberian guy who ran a club in Liberia, and he was assigned with trying to get players because he said the talent pool was ridiculous, and he wanted to get agent. He became an agent and wanted to get players into Europe, but so difficult. For one, sometimes you go over there, and because you haven't got some sort of fundamentals, you might be athletic and all that kind of thing, you just don't get in. And there's a lot of players that have gone to Italy, for example, from Africa, had trials, not got in, and outstayed their visa, their welcome, and gone to different clubs around Europe, and they've been manipulated, as in, and you can hear all these horror stories, about young African players going all around Europe, ended up in the Maltese league and doing their thing there. Yaya Toure ended up in. He was playing.
To Barcelona, wasn't he?
No, before Barcelona, he was at Monaco. Was it Monaco? Turkey or Greece? I can't remember. Go and someone look up. Where was Yaya Toure? He started his career somewhere obscure like that. But I see that if anyone wants to watch a good documentary, it's a documentary about African. Ajax have got connection with Ajax in South Africa, and they recruit a lot of African players. And they did a documentary. Yeah, he was playing in Turkey, wasn't he? Yeah. So they recruit. If you look at it, it's a documentary about Ajax and how they recruited young African players to come over, and just shows you why to get the advantage, you better act like you might be 17, but say you're 12, because then you'd shine even more and get more opportunity. Because the opportunity to make it is the desires is so big. You can build a big house, set up your family for generations to come. That's why you need to take that advantage to do that, to change your birth certificate. So you'll get spotted and you'll get taken in just on the physicality alone and your talent, and then you can learn it. So we might criticize it, but there's an understanding, the reason behind it, which is usually opportunity, coming away, changing your life around, and making money in Europe and sending it back home and becoming a generational.
The motivation is very clear
in your family, so it's so important.
All right, we'll just do some comments. First of all, I want to shout out Hydro. Hope that you're well as well. Right, who are we talking about? I think that in terms of Manchester United Academy players, there's a pair of twins at the academy. I don't want to talk about children, to be honest, but they do look like they're quite big boys for their age. But there we go.
So the implications of this, BT, what are they saying? Is it a club punishment thing? Is it just hearsay? Have they got a specific case involved?
Right. So it is like they're probably going to have to investigate it, to be honest, because age fraud is incredibly serious. It actually happened to Amad Diallo, who was fined 40 grand because he came as a child to Italy. He was essentially child trafficked under false pretenses, whatever that word is.
So how was he fined? Why was he fined?
I don't know why he was fined, but I know he's fined 40 grand. Because when you move, you have to have an adult with you that is moving to the area for certain reasons.
Yeah, but then if he was anyway, look, obviously they've worked out and they've done what they've done. This is so it's just Man City and Manchester United. There's no other Premier League club involved.
Yeah. And I've just checked. It was he was fined 48,000 euros, Ahmad, because he falsified his documents.
So what we saying then? Ahmad could be 27.
Could be. but I doubt it. And the way they find out is they MRI you, which they MRI you and they check your teeth, and that is a good indicator of your biological age. I would think that Ahmad is okay with his age. He's even a little bit older than we think. He's about the same age as Anthony. He's like 23 now. But essentially, Mr. B, it's been driven, as far as I can see, by academy parents. Because, I mean, yeah, but when you were 15, how tall were you?
I had a growth spurt from about 18.
Oh, okay.
18. So I was tall, but not the tallest. There were other kids taller than me.
Yeah, I did. So I didn't like really go through puberty till I was about 18. So like, I was like 5'6" when I was 17, and I got the shit beaten out of me by literally everyone on the football pitch. It was very, very frustrating, but I couldn't compete physically. And in the same way that there's motivation for, for African parents to kind of boost their child up a bit, there's a motivation for people who have got like sons and so on in the academy that aren't as physically developed to try and make up the ground by accusing people of lying. But there are precedents to it. I'll just finish the comments actually. First we've got Jarvis. Hello Jarvis, I hope you're well. I don't know why you're being asked this, Mr. B, but who was that Lazio player that looked about 50?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Why is this? I know who you're talking about, though. He was a granddad. Somebody blatantly fucked up. There's no way that this guy, no chance, and he wasn't even that good anyway. So what was the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Andrew is also throwing some accusations out, saying that Wilfred Boney, the Swansea legend, was older than he made out. Crazy that he moved to City. I'm not saying Freddie Adu went through puberty at 9. I'm saying that I think Freddie Adu was older than the boys that he was playing against. And it's not the first time this has happened. There was a Brazilian, I've got the name written down somewhere. There was a Brazilian player in 2003 that got fined because he was 5 years older than his birth certificate, and he played in an under-18 cup or something like that. It does happen. What else have we got here? We got Jarvis, confirming 48,000 euros. He's found guilty of falsifying documents to feign a relationship with Hamed Mamadou Traore, facilitating his immigration into Italy. Have I pressed the wrong button? Or was that you, Mr. B?
I did one.
I haven't read through these comments.
That's right, I've done it. It should be
okay, cool. Right. I do apologize. I don't know why V keeps doing this, to be honest. It's really why would you just keep coming somewhere when no one wants you or your views? It's absolutely mental. But anyway. Right.
Maybe we're a better channel than we think.
I don't know. I think maybe we have a lower opinion of him than he deserves.
I don't get it. But look, while we've got I don't know how the hell I Am Titanium always knows it's V, but he always says, but it's V. Oh, look, we talk about people watching. Look. What's happening, Big Boss?
Yes.
Yeah, apologies, I was late.
Someone else is late. It's Chat Sport. Right. We're going to play a game now, not the game I was originally planning to play. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll do one now where Mr. B and Yabba, we signed quite a lot of players in the summer. We signed Delict, Xerxes, Ugarte, Mazraoui, and there was another, wasn't there? Or is that one? Did we just sign 4 players? Euro. All right. I want you to rank. Sorry?
I said I won.
You won the game, did you? Nice. Right. I want you to rank those 5 players from best signing to worst signing.
Oh, my God.
And I'll tell you what. No, I'm not going to put Dorgu in it, but I'm going to put those 5 players in.
Delict, Euro, Maz, Xerxes,
Ugarte.
Ugarte.
Yeah, I'm excluding, like, here,
All right.
Agile Beast is saying Yoro and Kone. I'm excluding Kone, Heaven, and Chido from this.
On performances so far, I would go Mazraoui 1. See, Euro's been injured. I can't really go Xerxes 2, can I? No, I think Xerxes 2 is probably going to be too much. Maz 1.
Okay.
De Ligt 2. Xerxes 3.
Oof.
No. But see, Euro hasn't played. But then I'm going to go... Ugarte would be my last one. Ugarte's
Really?
last. Yeah, I think of the 5, as much as he's playing, I like
So there's blindside tackles, isn't it?
I like the other players more. I just like, you know me and Xerxes. But Mazraoui, I think from the day that he's come in, hasn't put a foot wrong. And the fact that he's fasted and still playing, now he's playing, and Salah's fasted and Salah's fallen off a cliff. I want to give that to him more. So my one is definite number 1 is Mazraoui.
Okay.
2, Euro. 3, Xerxes. 4, who was 4? De Ligt. Oh God, De Ligt's 4.
Yeah.
I've got him after Euro. And De Ligt, I like De Ligt. Oh, that's a hard one, bath time.
All right. Whilst you're thinking, I'll do some comments.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay. Do we use Streamlabs? I think we do, don't we? Does it
No,
say
StreamYards.
StreamYards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Londoners. We use the yard. Like I did that. Right. Andrew has gone Maz, Euro, De Ligt, Ugarte, Xerxes. Agile has gone Maz, Euro, De Ligt, Ugarte, Xerxes. Exactly the same. Everyone else keeps doing things like De Ligt 3, Xerxes 4. Can you just put them in one comment, please? Because I can't be asked to work it out myself. Right. Maz is number 1 for you, Mr. B, without question, yeah?
Yeah.
But who's number 1 for you?
First one would be Euro. Spent a lot of money, but he's one for the future. It's a good signing. And I know he's on 115 grand, but I think he's someone, from what I've seen so far, not just, we can't gauge from this season because he's had an injury, but I think he's one for the future. He's going to be a very talented player for us. So Euro would be my number 1 because it's going to be good value.
Do you think he's developed enough since he's been here, or is that an unfair metric?
Develop when you're young. You have to. It's a new culture, isn't it? Come to English football. Sorry, and I think his development will show more because he's got to play in the back 3 now. He's got a new culture. And I think he's shown a lot already because he got rinsed that game against Southampton. He needed that wake up call, and he would learn from that. So I think he's shown a lot of positive things for me. And as a defender, I like him. Athletic, good on the tackle, times tackle. Just needs to improve his power heading a bit more. But otherwise, he's got a lot of games. So for me, going in 5 years' time when we open the new stadium, I expect to see Euro walking out on the first team.
That's ambitious in so many ways, Yappa. All right. Simon has gone Maz, Ugarte, Euro, De Ligt, Xerxes. Do you know what? Xerxes has come last, I think.
Not for me.
For everyone so far. Yeah. Of all the official entries that I'm using, Xerxes is last for all of them. Shout out Subvids.
I'm not having Xerxes last.
All right, should we do number 2 then?
Yeah.
So you've got Maz and then
I have to be honest with myself. Xerxes is my number 2.
Thank you.
If I'm honest with myself.
Can you be honest with us?
Yeah,
I don't mind if you're honest with yourself.
Xerxes number 2. He's
number 2.
Yeah. He's a player who, when he picks up the ball, he excites me a bit, in it more than anybody else in my team so far. So yeah, I'll go number 2, Xerxes.
Right, and that's just because he makes watching the team more enjoyable for you.
Yeah, and I can focus on his hair, innit?
I think, to be honest, I think that's a really, really good reason. Yabba, Euro number 1, number 2.
Xerxes, how much was he?
Like, let's just say 40 million euros.
Yeah, I would put Xerxes as well. For the same reason, I think he's a player that you can't replicate. You know, I'm thinking like the other day, he can remind me a bit of like Zlatan, Ronaldinho, and what was the other one?
Batistuta.
Oh, Batistuta, yeah. I haven't seen the Batistuta yet, but yeah, he's a really unique player. And we talked earlier. Remember, by the time you were saying earlier about Mavericks in the game, and he's one of them guys that is something different about him, and this is what we want to see in football. Someone who's allowed to play his game. He nutses someone every game. I don't like that. I don't think that's impressive, but that's his game. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes him exciting, and he will become, for me, a top signing. I said it from the start. I'm really impressed. I know people are quick to fire him because of the negatives they see. He can't run. He's overweight. He's not putting enough effort in. But what you want to see on the football pitch is the thing. We want to see heroes. We want to see legends who do things that no one else can do. And I think he's almost on that Cantona-esque kind of status. Who, when he gets a bit older and wiser and can influence.
Right? No.
I think.
What happy pills have you had today, bruv?
I think Xerxes has the ability to become like a unique player in that mold where he can change a game or do something special. I just want him to push on.
What about this? What about this? Right, 29 games, 3 goals, 1 assist. He was bought as a striker, and he's now playing like as a number 10. I think that's quite a strong argument that he can't be number 2.
Well, for me, he's definitely number 2. Good value, good money, and he's an exciting player. I think already he's proven a few times that he's got something about him. So I like to see him. I think he's a maverick, as you said earlier. I think he's a player that you'd watch, you're attracted to. And I think if he can, next year will be the making of him. And we start to realise that he's a flipping good player and we made a good signing there. So we might not be able to judge it now, but let's this time next year come back to this, and I'm going to clip this clip and all the comments in there saying, "Ha, what's he smoking?" or this stupidness you're coming with, and you'll soon see. Xerxes is a proper player. Mark my words.
Because you're going to have to base it off your words and not goals or output.
Yeah, exactly. Who's your number 2, Bartha? Who you gone for?
I would go for number 1. I would go for Mazraoui. I think for 12 million, he's been good. He kind of he fell off a little bit, I think, when Amran came, and he's pulled himself back together. Like I'm always super impressed with the Muslim players during Ramadan being able to keep up that level of performance and fasting. I find it genuinely inspirational and something that I'd like to get into a bit more. I think for number 2, I would go for Yoro because I can see the quality of Yoro and he really does feel like a shining light. He hasn't caused us any problems. He hasn't been responsible for any major ricks. He's just got on with his game and things. The pressure doesn't seem to have got to him. And he looks a fabulous player for me. My number 3, right, so who have I got left? I've got Xerxes, De Ligt and Ugarte. My number 3, I think I'm going to stick De Ligt in at number 3, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of his. I think that he's overpriced. I don't think he's sustainable. But I think that when I watched him...
You think he was overpriced?
Yeah, it's like 45 million, wasn't he?
I don't think we paid that much for him. I thought he was the end of the 30s.
Someone tell us how much he paid for De Ligt. But what I've been impressed with him recently is I really, really liked watching him coach Heaven through the last game, like helping him out and things. And I think that De Ligt because Maguire isn't a big talker and neither is Lindelof, I think with Heaven and De Ligt around, with Heaven and Yoro around,
38.5 mil.
42 million I've got here from Xavi.
That's euros.
It's
well,
still...
either way, look, 40 mil. You think he was overpriced at 40 mil, yeah?
Oh yeah, I do a little bit. Like, he's dropped in value every time he's moved. You'd expect to put, like, him to go up in value if he was like decent stuff. But I think that in terms of what he brings to like helping our young players develop, that would get him in third for me, because I'm not very impressed by 4 and 5 at the moment. So who are you guys going for 3?
My number 3 is going to be Maz. I think he's come in. We talk about signings, good value for money. He has performed really well, settled in quite comfortably, had to play a number of positions, and he always gives you a 7 out of 10 performance. So no frills, but just very consistent. He's played in the centre back 3. He's played at wing back. He's played as a number 10, and he's very got a good attitude and a good club player. The only thing is he's on about 100 and something grand a week. But he's earning it right now because he's quite valuable. So my third will be Maz, with De Ligt and Ugarte in that order next.
De Ligt for Ugarte is the worst signing.
Well, yeah, I think when you look at players like Collier and all these guys, I think it won't be long before they could probably out him or someone else.
As what?
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I go De Ligt 3. I've got so much time for De Ligt. I just think he's great. I don't see what Bath Time doesn't like about him, but that's the beauty of football. I'm taking him. So yeah, I'm taking him as number 3. Number 4. Who else was on our list?
You've got Ugarte and Yoro, I think, left, Mr. B.
Ugarte's last. And
really, he's last for both of you.
Yeah. I would make. I look at. Maybe not impact, but he's the one who, of the 5, I don't hate him. I don't think he's a bad player, as bad a player as you do. But I'm trying to work it in the order that we've got it in, and of those 5 players, he'd be the last. But I don't dislike him. There's players who I think I hate a lot more than him. But yeah, it's just because we've got those 5, he has to be.
Yeah, someone's got to go. Yeah,
somebody's got to go 5. So yeah.
All right. Well, we've got Maz, Ugarte, De Ligt, Xerxes, presumably Yoro 5th for Bilal. Yoro's left off quite a lot of lists as well. De Ligt, Mazraoui, Xerxes, Ugarte.
I haven't seen enough.
Apparently, I would never ask a footballer for an autograph, and it's not irrational. I've told you many times, Tyrone, why I don't like De Ligt. You've even told me privately that I was correct, and then you just flip-flop about like a fish out of water. One week he's amazing, one week he annoys you. Yoro number 2. I think, right, so I'm very tempted to put Xerxes last, to be honest. But I think I'm going to put Ugarte last based off the price, and that we're not going to be able to move him on. I think like Xerxes is a player that is nice to watch and stuff like that. Completely agree. I just don't. He's got to do more for me. Like that's the big issue. Is he's come in as a Manchester United attacker. He's got 4 goal contributions in 30 games. I like his attitude. Well, yes. Yeah.
I mean, look, isn't that all you could ask for a player? I mean, new country, new surroundings, no preseason.
Look, I'll tell you what, I prefer him in the team to Rasmus Højlund. I probably prefer him in the team to Garnacho, to be honest. I'm not sure about that one, but he's all right. He's nice to watch. It's just he needs to make more impact. And I'm not saying that he's a bad signing. He's my number 4. Ugarte is a bad signing, and I don't like him as a football player.
Day one. You said that from day one.
There's so much of his game that I really, really don't like. Tackling from the blind side, inability to move the ball around. Like, I know we scored that goal against Southampton with, in my opinion, a mishit left foot shot. But what you'll see time and time again is that him getting taken off on the 60th minute. And you have to ask yourself, is that because his football ability, or is it because he's on a yellow card? And to me, they're both the same thing. He's an accident waiting to happen, and he's not good enough to be a midfielder. I would say all the other signings have been all right. I think Yoro and Maz have been good signings. I think De Ligt's been an all right signing. Actually, I'll put De Ligt into a good signing because we've lost Martinez and it keeps Lindelof out of the team. Xerxes is an okay signing. Hopefully there's more to come, but Ugarte, I think, is a bad signing. And I'll just do some comments, but I'll ask you one last question, which is, now that we've had 6 months, I want you to tell me what your rating was for that summer transfer window out of 10. Because, but I think you said it was a 9 or something like in last summer. Tyrone, all defenders have mistakes in them, none more so than Maguire. It's not about the mistakes, Tyrone. It's about his technique defending that I don't like. De Ligt. Xerxes' technical ability is breathtaking, but the lack of goals is poor. All his nice touches are 50 yards away from goal. Okay. He was not 60 million. You can't be serious. Ugarte was 60 million.
As I said, man, these guys, they just bent over for Ten Hag, man. Jesus, is that 60?
That's an Ineos signing, Ugarte. Ten Hag didn't want him. Okay. Richard says 5 for the summer, which we'll call that below average.
42.1 million plus add-ons.
Okay, so 50 million in total.
50.5, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That obviously isn't as bad as 60 million. I'd be shocked. And I agree here with Jarvis. I like Sandberg. Should have got him under Ollie. He's a good player. Right, Mr. B, what is your total score for the transfer window?
I still give it a 7. We needed the players we got in. We needed. I don't think any of them have been shocking. None of them have been, well beaters, but maybe for the price that we were spending, they probably wouldn't have been. So yeah, I'll still give it a 7.
We signed a striker and we still need one. Yabba, what's your score?
I'd say about 7 as well. I think when you look at Euro and Xerxes in the years to come, they're going to be good signings. And obviously De Ligt, the money, he's a good leader. I saw them in the comments talking about his characteristics, leadership, and that. We knew that about him. He's like that. Just think, I'm looking at the signings. I think, is there anyone? Can they be replaced? And what's good value? And I think Euros is my number one, 100%. Because when you look at the window where we signed Euro, we're going to look back in years to come and say, "Wow, that was a good window. We signed Euro."
I mean, we paid him a huge amount of money. We paid a massive fee. We overpaid to get him.
Yeah. Well, we look back in the future and say, "Wow, Euro's starting to perform."
Yeah,
and that was a good signing. It makes sense. I'm really pleased we made a signing that someone who's going to make it. We've seen Canavinga, we've seen Chuchamendi, we've seen all these top.
You got
players.
both of those names wrong, but we knew who you were talking about.
Did I get it wrong? Canavinga, Chuchamendi.
Is that his name? Chuchamendi.
It's Chuameni.
It's Chuameni.
I say Chuchamendi there.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well, I mean, you're naturally a
we're
linguist.
used to it. It's fine. It's fine.
And we missed out on players like that. And so to get a scoop like that, a top French player who's going to develop.
We did have to get Ugarte to get him though. Like we basically made George Mendes our director of football, and that's one thing. That's the reason why I didn't put Yoro at number 1. To be honest, is because two have got him. We needed to get Ugarte in, who I don't like at all as a footballer. Like, not a chance. For me personally, I would give it a 4 out of 10 because I think that one issue we addressed was getting in a reasonable centre back. Great. But we needed a midfielder and we needed a striker. Those are what we needed from the transfer window. Xerxes isn't a striker anymore. You know my thoughts on Ugarte. I don't think it was a great window. I never liked it. And Jarvis says here, remember to include the outgoing players when you evaluate the window. Therefore, I'm going to give it a 0 because I like Scott McTominay. But who did we shit? We shit Greenwood, McTominay.
The youngster French centre back went, didn't he?
Willy Kambala
and the striker, yeah. Or the forward.
Martial.
No, who's the guy you liked who's came on?
Ethan Wheatley, Amari Forson.
That guy played at
Amari Forson.
Forson, yeah.
Yeah.
Fernandez, is it? No, not Fernandez. The left back,
Alvaro Fernandez.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound great, does it? When you look at the players that we sort of replaced them with, like you could say, De Ligt is an upgrade on Willie. I'm not having the Xerxes or the Ugarte upgrades on McTominay. We also, yes, thank you, Jarvis. Varane, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think we can agree Mazraoui's an upgrade on Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
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 Varane, I think I would say De Ligt is an upgrade on Varane due to availability.
Okay, best film, yeah.
The rest, no. Donny, yeah, he was. Donny and Sancho don't count, but Ugarte for McTominay or Xerxes, whenever you're going to play him, not a chance. Alvaro Fernandez. I think all that one depends on Harry Amas because he was.
I think it depends on if he gets sold. They're going to make money. They're going to make money off Fernandez in the summer, guaranteed. They're going to make money off him.
Shout out to Kieran. All right, I've got Yabba. Do you want to? Should we lack a notch it now? All right, we can continue this tomorrow. We're definitely gonna play a game tomorrow as well because talk about Xavi Simmons is incredibly boring. So probably 9 o'clock tomorrow. Lights, notifications, all that bollocks.
I'm good for that.
Yeah, lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch from me.
Guys.
Do it properly.
Sorry.
Lack a notch from me.
It's a lack of notch from me.
Oh, for God's sake.